Oh, you usually see that before. The rear is covered. These guys covered it off. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. You made it. Yeah. Oh, my mail. Thank you.
It's contemporary. It's not crazy.
Yeah. I just don't understand how they can do that.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call, please.
Mayor Miller,
Here.
Councilmembers Robinson.
Here.
Creflo. Here. Bauer.
Here.
Ludwig. Here.
All right, with that, we will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Do we have one?
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Robinson, second. Second by Councilmember Ludwig, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda. We have a motion. I'll make that motion. Motion by Councilmember Bauer. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Creflo. Any questions regarding consent? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll have our meeting open to the public. Anybody that would like to speak? I think that guy wants to go. Just in time to step up and give your name and address if you'd like.
Okay. I'm Trent Blake. I live at 22816 Pop Street, right behind Village Bank there. And I would like to talk to you guys about changing the ordinance for being able to drive golf carts in town. This is a little messy, so it's gonna take me a second here. So far, it looks like, I'm pretty sure from everything I found out online is Ramsey, Oak Grove, and Isani allow golf carts in town. I know that here in town, we allow every other recreational vehicle basically other than golf carts. One thing I'd like to point out too with the golf carts, that they are, for the road wise and damage wise, way safer than like these ATVs with these big knotty tires and stuff like that. Another thing too, like electric golf carts, me going to Casey's, just, 2 blocks from my house kind of thing, is way better than me starting up my diesel pickup and driving there, so emissions and everything like that. I think if we have the right amount of safety or features on the golf carts, like they have to have like a street legal aspect to them, which is going to be blinkers, headlights, tail lights, slow moving triangle on the back of it. I even have seatbelts on mine. That, they're just as safe as every other small vehicle out there. I had a great conversation with Todd. I know that, and I respect his opinion on this. And his opinion is, it's just another small vehicle and it's him and his employees that are going out and having to clean up these scenes and everything like that. And I do understand it and I respect that. But at the same token, it's kind of the same thing if I'm walking across through a crosswalk, if somebody's not paying attention. Or if I'm in my vehicle or something like that, it comes down to ownership of when you're in the vehicle and being responsible. I also have on my car a actual vehicle insurance on it, with $50,000, $100,000 deductible on it. Actually have roadside assistance, believe it or not, on a golf cart. But I think that, you know, the city has the opportunity, if they choose to change courses, to where you guys can set up how you want, what safety features you have to have, what requirements, you know, if you do get stopped, you need to have an insurance card, that kind of stuff. There may be some roads that, you know, you can't go on. We talked about Highway 47. I don't believe a golf cart should be driving up and down Highway 47. I'm not even sure that I think that they should be able to cross 47. But, I mean, we have the opportunity that where you guys could set it up. I know snowmobiles, I believe you charge a $20 permit, or sticker fee. Make it $50, bring more money into the city kind of thing. Have them have to do an inspection on the vehicle. Tough thing with the inspection is they won't be able to drive it to you guys because on 47, but you might have somebody that could bring, you know, they can come by, they look, say, okay, you don't have blinkers. We can't pass it right now or issue you a permit right now. Get that done and we'll come back out kind of thing. They're just as safe as some of the other wrecked vehicles. I mean, you look at snowmobiles, there's not a seatbelt. You know, a lot of motorcycles, we don't even have a helmet policy for motorcycles kind of thing. So I think that's pretty much it. I just, you know, I like to golf. I want to be able to drive my golf cart to the golf course, not have to pay the $18 fee. So, and I know, like I said, we allow a lot of other recreational vehicles there. I think that this is just the same, but in all aspect too, I respect your opinion and everything on this and like that, and whatever y'all decide, it is what it is. So, but thank you for your time.
Thanks, Trent. Just to address this a little bit, even though I don't know if this is the time and place necessarily to address it, but I guess, I'd like to hear council's thoughts on it, going from there, but before we do that, there are some restrictions on some of those other ATVs, and Todd, if you wanna take over there and kind of list some of those, cause like, four-wheelers can't be necessarily on the road, so there are other restrictions to those too.
Well, it kind of depends on which type of road. So the city of St. Francis would have the ability, which they've created an ordinance for, they have the ability to oversee ATV use on streets that basically they're the road authority of that fall under their jurisdiction. So that's why it pertains to local streets, city streets. There are certain times where ATVs can be on the roads per our ordinances between certain times, and they have to, you know, they have to comply with all the 169 statutes, all the traffic laws, can be impaired, just like you're driving a car, they have to be licensed, registered, everything, you know, and if you comply with all of that, technically you can be on the road between certain times while you're not driving reckless, you're just kind of hitting from point A to point B. Okay. County roads and things like that are different. That's all governed by the DNR statutes. 4 point something, but it's all under them statutes. You know, the county board would have some say in that, I believe they would have some say as far as prohibiting ATVs or even regulating ATVs in county roads and road railways and things like that, but that, you know, would have to be deferred to local jurisdiction, local county that oversee those roads. So it kind of depends on whose road it is and what kind of people we're talking about.
So the other concern, I guess, that I have, Trent, is to say we take the time, put staff time into it. You have County 9 and Bridge Street to deal with too. I don't know how you would plan to circumvent those. Absolutely.
So my theory on that too is, I don't believe that you should be able to drive on a 55-mile-an-hour road with a golf cart. So that's why, and my understanding too is if you do decide to go forward and let's change some things, there's still going to be regulations and stuff like that to where, yeah, you can't be going to Lake George. Because there's not a shoulder there or anything like that. If you have to cross it, that's one thing. I don't know where,
Again, that's out of our jurisdiction too.
and that's Oak Grove. I mean, Oak Grove doesn't have an ordinance against, with golf carts.
But it's a county road, so sheriffs and stuff.
Yeah, so that would be a whole situation there. So I'm not asking to drive on 55-mile-an-hour zone or whatever, but I'm thinking if I wanted to just run up to Casey's or to, you know, something like that, that I can do, or more importantly, if I want to drive from my house around to, you know, around my neighborhood to the street behind me kind of thing, you know, not have to worry about it, that kind of thing here, or if I want to drive to the golf course and save the $18. So.
Thank you. First, Sarah, have you guys any comments on that?
I think it's something that we can possibly look into. The trouble with, that we have in the state is always that we don't have jurisdiction over those main roads. And to get to the golf course, you're going to have to use a street that we don't have jurisdiction over, correct? Well, I suppose you can go.
I'm just gonna say it. So,
But
so this is one of your concerns too. So actually drove it today and you pretty much, you have a side until you get to, PTL Tire. And then you got about 100 yards to where, yeah, there's not a road there. So you would have to have, you'd be driving on the side of the road or on the shoulder, you know, basically the side. So yeah, that is a little bit of a trickier area. But at the same token too, I know this too, like if you look at Halloween. On Halloween, there's 200 golf carts in this town driving around. With not even nearly the legal, you know, things that they should have or whatever, just for trick or treating, and I think that's great. But I mean,
what I would hate to have is say, yeah, we're gonna pass an ordinance, and we say, yeah, you can drive on our streets, and it's still gonna restrict you from getting to where you really wanna go. Cause even to get to
Legally.
Casey's, you go legally, yes, even to get to Casey's, you gotta go on Bridge Street, even if there's a shoulder, even if there's.
Well, I don't think the walking path.
Yeah, you can't.
Wherever it is you can, and to Councilman's point, even Bridge Street is a county road, so I'm not sure that, and the point that's trying to be made, I'm not sure that our council could allow carts to be on 229 or Bridge Street, because they're basically falling under county roads or the county board as jurisdiction on those roads, so.
so what if they were allowed to drive on the paths then? Just an idea kind of thing.
I don't know, as far as there are county paths too, some of them sure are, but some of them aren't, like through the park there, it's gotta be county park.
The other, sorry, question I have too is I know there are certain streets that are legal for you to drive golf carts. My question is, I think, Mr. Bauer, when I talked to you earlier, you said you see a lot of carts going through your neighborhood and everything. You're closer to the golf course than I am. Are those carts, are they allowed to only drive to the course and back, or are they allowed in the neighborhoods kind of thing, or question like that?
Currently, from what I understand, there's a nice square, and I was told the boundaries, I don't have them memorized. That you're allowed to drive to and from, directly to and from the golf course. Obviously, you know, what people do, if they don't get caught, who knows, but legally, and then by a rule, it would be directly to and from the golf course. Sure.
Any other questions, Bob?
I don't have any. Rob, comments, questions, concerns?
Yeah. I'm actually for it, cause I drive all over Wisconsin, on my ATV and on golf carts. And in Wisconsin, you're allowed to cross county roads, cross them, but they're posted usually on both sides, the street, that you can't go down a county road. And I can get 175 miles north to the liquor store and back on my UTV. And for us to have like a little bitty circular area, and I hate San Francisco, because if you're on the east side, you can't get to County Market. As much as we want to flex our or soften up our rules on what we can do on our streets, you can't get to County Market unless you're going all the way north, cross over the bridge, go through Isani, over to 47, down 6 or whatever that is, 8 towards Zimmerman, and then back down into St. Francis. And you can do it. I'm telling you, you could do it. I could probably figure out how to do it legally, on strictly ATV trails. But for us to have an ordinance that just kind of circulates, around the golf course, and then we look the other way on Halloween, and pretty much everybody that drives around my neighborhood may be going to or from, the golf course. I know I'm not, and I'm honest about it. So I would be open to relaxing those on our city streets. I'm not for lights and sirens and blinkers and all this other stuff. It's great if you wanna be on, be that person. But if we were to say, hey, I know we can drive our golf carts around the golf course, but now we've changed our ordinance, so now everyone has to have blinkers and brakes and licensed and insured. Now we've just made that group of golfers illegal. So I like your thoughts on that, but I'm all for softening that up too. A golf cart is a golf cart. There's city street speeds. So we're not out driving 55 miles an hour on our streets and run into a golf cart that's trying to go to the golf course. You literally could come across the roundabout, because you can cross the county road, into the school parking lot, over to Cary Street, down around your place, back behind the road. I know the paths, drive them all the time. Am I legal or not? Who knows? You know,
That's great.
never got a car. But, I'm just like every resident out there. So we need softer government and quit trying to tell everybody what they can and can't do on in and around their neighborhoods. Let people be neighborly and run over to their neighbor's house. And you only get caught when there's a neighbor next to you that hates you. And it's just frustrating for me to be an official that says, hey, what do we want to do the best for most of our residents? And I'm for softening that up, and not holding golf carts to a different standard than snowmobiles and sometimes ATVs. Let's just do it all the same. Let's figure out what we need to do to get that passed. So that's where I'm at.
Kristen?
Well, I want to say I agree with Rob, but he just told the chief he can, relax.
I'm on my driveway on my 4-wheeler. So I gotta turn around somewhere. Where do you turn around on a 75-foot driveway? In the street.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm just giving them.
Okay.
So, I mean, I agree for the most part that there isn't a reason why if we're allowing snowmobiles and ATVs and things, if we can't change the ordinance to kind of mirror that. I don't know if it's gonna get you to the golf course or not, but talk to Rob, he's got a map.
I know the way.
But, I would support looking at the ordinance to see about allowing it, to move forward.
Kevin?
Well, I'd like to approach it from a practical standpoint. I guess the first question I'd have is, when was the last time this was even looked at? We do housekeeping for all kinds of stuff. And this might be something that needs housekeeping, and as far as staff time or our time, it's a work session type thing. I believe that Isani Township or Isani itself, the city, which is kind of mimics some of the stuff we have. We have some commercial and rural and stuff. Might be something to look at. And then the permit fees, you could make the fees $100. And you're gonna weed out the haves from, or the wants to the want, don't want. Pay it. So, but again, and my question to the chief, that's a good question. Where does the permit money go? And how does it really facilitate the police in their endeavor to keep things in law and order?
That was maybe what the code,
They're pretty sure with the general
The permit that the user would pay? And I'm sorry, it goes, does where?
fund.
Does what?
General.
Okay. Well, I do want to look at it. Again, I'm not, soften might not be the right word. I'd rather do it within parameters, but again, we haven't looked at it in a while, maybe it's time to look at it with the chiefs. Input as well, and just say, what's good, you know, what's reasonable and unreasonable, that's always been my motto. And it's not really government's job to protect you from yourself, you gotta be responsible, and again, we've got knuckleheads coming through here and with four wheels and excuse me, automobiles that are drunk out of their mind, and the cops are taking good care of that problem as well. But I'm willing to look at it and do maybe a work session on it, and again, with the chief's input and stuff, and again, I understand the chief's side too, I spoke to him about it. And, he's not Debbie Downer, he's Mr. Practical. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, but do we need to be protected, you know, from ourselves, from our own devices, so. I'd look at it down the road a little bit, and we try to come up with something. Again, there's things that are out of our control as far as going across county road, this and that, and I see he has the same situation. Oak Grove's got the same situation, granted, they passed. It was Free Willy, 7, 8, 9 years ago, they were in golf carts, let her talk. But again, they got across county roads and stuff too, so if the Anoka County Sheriff is over here, and then by the way, the sheriff does police Oak Grove. If they're police officer as well as they covers the county side, so. They could pop you just as easy, even though Oak Grove doesn't supersede. That's another question. Oak Grove or any city doesn't supersede what the county mandates, do they? The sheriff has one situation on the county situation.
My understanding, I believe, initially it's gonna come on that county board, but I'm fairly certain that local jurisdictions could further prohibit or regulate those.
You can make it stricter, but you can't make it lighter.
All right.
Usually,
Yeah, it depends on, if we're talking about county roads, that the county will have most of the say.
So no matter what we would do, we still have, the caveat is the Anoka County.
If we're gonna do county roads, I think it's a whole different.
And we'd have to, because that's the arteries that we're looking at, and maybe it'll fly on its own, and maybe it'll fall flat on its face. After we dissect it a little more, so.
Local streets, this council can make those decisions regarding the local streets.
Sure, so, yeah, I we will look at it, the chief would devote some time to us and take a peek. Thank you.
I have no concern, I guess, over directing staff to look at it. Where we come out. My biggest concern is if you do open it up, say for the whole city, one Oak Grove and us are somewhat different animals for the fact that they have more area, same population roughly, but more area to cover. They're a lot more spread out. My biggest concern is kind of the same as with the chiefs too is, somebody sees Trent driving to the golf course and now they say, oh, we can drive our golf carts anywhere we want in the city. And then you have to start policing that, putting time into that too. Also the concern being, we have a hard time getting cars safely across 47, obviously. Now you can say you can't cross 47 and get a law against it, but like I say, some clown sees you driving it and you're driving it safely, that's fine, but then they want to, start doing dumb stuff, and it does open up somewhat of a can, so there is that, and then also the Rob's as far as creating more rules to make it more safe for everybody, but then you just made how many people illegal too. That's another question I'd have too, so it's an interesting topic, but I agree that it's not up to government to protect themselves, but also, again, with public safety, I mean, I think Chief's got a good point there, and that's what worries me most. I'm usually want to be less restrictive on a lot of these ordinances too, but when it comes to safety too, I think with our roads, it is a concern, it's understandable. And just because you want to do it, you want to make sure, I mean, you know, I've known you a little bit here throughout the years, but I think too that just because you're responsible, you get a whole more slew of people too that, you know, the masses are not always the brightest, we all know that, so. I mean, we can see where it goes, but I guess with that, we could direct staff to look into it, do some housekeeping on the topic and.
Is there a chance I can respond real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so this individual here just pulled up too, apparently in Anoka County, or in Anoka, Minnesota, you're allowed to drive golf carts too. But and what you were just talking about too is the safety and everything like that. I truly believe it comes down to an individual. Because granted, if you're gonna, most people that go golfing, they're gonna be drinking. So I don't drink and drive myself, but that individual, whether they're driving their car there or their golf cart there, it's the same scenario. If they're an idiot, they're gonna make the bad choice.
Well, just like any rules too, rules don't stop them doing that.
Yes, and you know, and I 100% understand that, yes, especially nowadays with cell phones and everything like that, unattended driving and everything like that. you're in a smaller vehicle, that kind of thing, but at the same token, if I'm willing to put, you know, to get in my car and drive to the gas station. I'm okay to put myself in that position. The other thing I thought about too is, if I can't drive to the golf course, I can get over that, because I just found out today, they want to charge me $700 to use my card on their course. So it's cheaper for me to use their card, so that's fine, I don't care, but if we could just loosen it up to find. So where we could utilize the city, not go out, you know, because where it turns there, I think it is at 40 miles an hour there. It might even hit, I don't, does it hit 50 yet, when you hit to the golf course, I can't remember. So, okay, I can understand that, and I'm fine if I can't drive to the golf course. I just would like to be able to, if I wanna, you know, drive to the gas station or to Dollar General to be, you know, instead of firing up my diesel pickup and everything like that and spending all the gas mileage and everything like that. Or more importantly, if I would just drive through my neighborhood and go 2 blocks from my house back in Poppy Street kind of area to where you can have good old family fun and everything like that kind of thing. So that's basically where, I mean, I understand completely, these should not be allowed. I don't even think ATVs should be allowed on roads like 47 and County Road 9 or anything like that. I mean, I see guys whipping 45 miles, 55 miles an hour, and I'm like, holy crap, yeah, I'm not doing that. But if we could come to just a common ground where it's more in the residential areas and thing, or you want to swing down to Casey's or Speedway or that kind of thing, Taco Bell kind of thing. You know, I mean, and if somebody wants to do it while they're drinking, boom, that's on you, dude, you're an idiot. Another thing too is like if you put the permit, so you had brought up another point about, you know, somebody might not have the right safety stuff or everything, but if we come up with an area where we have a sticker that you put on it, and it's in a spot where the officers realize, okay, it doesn't have that. So, okay, now we can pull them over, we can educate, give a warning and say, okay, the next time this happens, if you don't have your permit, then because you're not meeting our guidelines, well, now you get a ticket kind of thing. So there's a lot of options out there that I think that you guys have the chance of, you can set the regulations. And say, this is it, if you can meet these. Then, hey, we're fine with that kind of thing, and when they get a permit, they get a packet that says, okay, these are the areas you're not allowed to drive on, and that kind of thing. So, but thank you for your time.
I think too, it'll be interesting to see what staff comes up with, because they always do a good job of doing their research and figuring out comparables. Like when they say, well, they're allowed in Anoka. They could have rules where they're allowed to do a certain spot too in Anoka or things like that too, that we always come up with. Not always what it seems on the face value. But I guess staff has direction with that, so with that, we can, is there anybody else who would like to speak? Or, open to the public? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business, item A, bottle shop, fiber optic.
Mayor and council, for tonight is a request to accept the low quote from Telecom to run the Zale fiber optic line from the bottle shop to the new Zale fire station. Discussions for the city to run the Zale line began in early 22 in the building committee to capitalize on the work that was completed in 2020 when the line was run from the current city hall to the bottle shop. Money was set aside in March of 2023 in the bottle shop and public works CIPs split evenly to complete the project. The plan is also to put the water tower and water treatment plant on the same city line in 2027-28. So all the city buildings will be on the Zale line. With that, I can answer any questions.
Questions, we'll start with you, Kevin.
Thank you. Paul, can you refresh us what we spent from our current city hall to the bottle shop, that not that it really matters anymore? And then also, didn't Parrish have he had some pieces that he was moving around, and he thought he had something cooking that was gonna be beneficial financially for us,
Yep, so I looked it up, the money spent in 2020 was 40,000. Zale is probably the way to go. We had talked about a VPN, we talked about some other options. With the VPN, say the bottle shop, the internet service goes down on a VPN, it can be 2 or 3 hours or longer to get that repaired. And if that's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to Joe on July 3rd. Yeah, I can guarantee it. Zale will have that repaired in under an hour. that's about the only other way we could do it is with VPN.
Okay, early in the stages of when we were talking City Hall Fire Station, I thought, Parrish had something, or that, maybe this is the plan.
This is the
He
plan.
looked something that maybe was even more, expensive.
Yep, so originally, we set aside, 50,000 in each CIP. We thought it was going to be around 100,000. This is what Parrish has been working on. We were politely, I mean, it was nice to see that it came in at 77,000 instead of 100.
Okay,
This is what he has been working on. He
okay,
spent quite a bit of time on it, trying to get us organized for the new building, so.
okay, all right, that answers my question, I appreciate that, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all, Mayor.
The only question I have is with the budget implications, it says the expenditure will be split between the bottle shop and public works, and the bottle shop support that. Okay, I just didn't want to make sure that the budget could support.
Yep, that was all pre-planned, so.
Okay, perfect, thank you. That was my question.
I had the same question about when we ran that line from the city hall to the bottle shop. That was gonna kind of be the end all fix all fiber solution, for the bottle shop. Now we have to go somewhere else with it. Are we tying in the water tower and everything when we go right by it? Or are we gonna get another $70,000 bill in 27?
No, so we're not tying it in right now. This is just to keep internet in the bottle shop for now. We have the money set aside for 27 and 28 when we're working on the street is the plan. So we're trying to look ahead a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
There.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions. I guess my frustration is just timing, and hindsight's always 2020. I know we needed to run that line in 2020 and we did it, and the price tag kind of threw me off then too. Just disappointing we didn't somehow have waited and spending more money now to kind of do the same thing we already did because we moved. But it's definitely a need and necessary project, unfortunately. So hopefully in the future we'll save us to tie in, maybe even cheaper in the future now. So with that, we will entertain a motion to approve the bid. We have a motion. Or do we have a bid yet? There's a bid?
Yep.
The low bid. So we have a motion to approve the low bid.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilmember Udvig. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Krecklo. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, annual audit report.
Mayor and council, before you tonight is a choice and how you would like to receive our annual audit report in May. Typically, after it comes out, they do a presentation, small PowerPoint, answer questions on the scene. They are offering a change in direction and they are doing presentations now via video, still with the opportunity that any council member could reach out and talk to them. We would be able to either play the video at the council meeting, put it on our website. But if we go through the video process versus having them come here in person, it would have a $500 credit towards our expenses of that audit. So tonight, just Darcy and I are looking for direction is, do you want them here in person? Or would you be comfortable with a presentation video and then the opportunity to call them if you have questions?
I'm all for a video, whether they do a presentation right here in front of me or not. I can watch a video just the same. So.
I would prefer in person. I like that, the interaction, be able to ask the question in the moment and not have to write it down and remember it all, be able to reach back out.
There.
I'm with Crystal on that. I like having here. I don't know that. I guess a video, we can make it work if that's what council holds.
Yeah.
I think the past audits hasn't been any issues or wrinkles. Darcy does a good job and they always tell us the same thing about redundancy, which we've never been able to fulfill because our staff is only so big. That's needed, but other than that, I don't know, 5 years I've been doing this with you, the administration, we haven't had any real issues. If we can save $500 to do a video, I think.
This is a tiebreaker. Personally, for me, I do like the in-person, kind of for the same reasons, the interaction. I think $500 is a good savings, but it's also kind of a drop in the bucket at the scale we work at. I do like the interaction here, and I think too, for the residents that do show up, which we don't get as many as we, would like. But I think having it right there in front of them and more hands-on and seeing that interaction would give us that $500 value if people show up, but they gotta show up, so that's where I would lean in person stuff.
Mayor, council, that was the direction we needed. We will stick with him.
And in the future, if we decide to change, we can probably have that option somewhere. So. Second meeting open to the public. Do you have anybody that has showed up that wants to? Take that as a no. All right. Now we will move on to council member reports. Sarah. Raj?
I do not have anything to report.
Yeah.
I want to apologize for not being able to be at the Bethel Fire meeting. I had a family emergency to take care of, but it sounds like it was kind of the kickoff of the consulting firm that we've hired to take this to the next level. And I've been advertising with two other cities officials that, hey, we're doing this. You guys really might want to think about something when they're talking about some expansions and or creating more stuff within their fire department. But again, that was the first big kickoff. So we have a consultant on board, and the timing was really nice as well. Kate sent it out as far as, if I recall, Kate, is it September, October is when it was within this calendar year yet. The things are going to be.
Correct. We're looking at a substantial report by the end of August, beginning of September.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and then again, that'll give us a template to maybe do something in the future. Not that St. Francis has to be the ringleader for consolidating fire costs, but it's a template that our neighboring cities could use, and they, if they're going to drop big money on new buildings and more personnel, they could probably save over 75% by not doing that, and we could do something for that deserves to be done. And it will be coming in the future, whether we all get to see it or not. It's coming. So, also April 1st today is April 1st, so the deadline to get your entries in to be in the parade, the Pioneer Days Parade, is coming. You can go to the St. Francis Chamber of Commerce website. May 24th, again, May 24th is the cutoff. Be in the parade. They've got some people lined up already. We've had some grand marshals chosen, which I'll leave under my hat, but that's pretty cool. So reach out to the chamber if you want to be part of the parade. They did have a late entry this afternoon. There was another, it's a riding arena or horse commercial entity, and so there's going to be horses and actual poopers, scoopers and stuff after the horses. So we're actually going to have live animals in the parade this year as well, not just the football players and other things. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, for me, I spoke with Jody about some code issues here and there, and I did attend the Bethel meeting via Zoom. That was a pretty tough hour. I had to sit through because my audio was not the greatest there. But it looked like a great presentation. I love the slides. I like the direction that he's going. We all know what our goal is at the end, and hopefully we reach it. And just one question for you, Todd, as the Citizens Academy. How was the turnout?
He's got a few, I don't know the exact number right now, but I know the first couple of days we told him he did get a few applicants, so. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we continue to push that, and I'd encourage the council to push it on their Facebook. We've got to get as many people as we can there. I think it's an awesome program. Again, gives you a whole different perspective, and Trent, you should sign up. I think you'd enjoy it, I really do. With that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. I'll make that motion. Motion by Councilmember Bauer, as usual. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second, by Councilmember Robinson, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Meeting at 6:37.